That's Con Media.
This message is to all women that are getting abused. You have to wake up and address this abuse, because if you don't, it's possible that you could end up like this woman right here, this beautiful sister right here. She was a deputy sheriff, Gwinnett County deputy sheriff. She lived in Forsyth County. And this still happened to her. So if it can happen to her, it can happen to you. Let's check this story out.
In a domestic disturbance happened over the weekend. Tyler Finger joins us now live with the very latest on what we know. Tyler, we know that there is a suspect in custody. We also know that this deputy's son was involved in what happened.
Yeah, Tom, good afternoon to you. New this hour, I just obtained court documents which show that the Gwinnett County deputy and that man have been in an on-again, off-again relationship for several years. And as recently as April, she filed for a protective order. All of this unfolded at this home here in Forsyth County over the weekend. That is where the relationship took a deadly turn when investigators say he killed her and wounded her son. This is Gwinnett County Master Deputy Tamara Tuitt-Bartlett. Investigators say she was killed Saturday night in what investigators call a domestic dispute. It happened at a home off McGinnis Ferry Road. Investigators say Deputy Tuitt-Bartlett was shot and killed by 43-year-old Eric Sumner. They say her teenage son ran to a neighbor's house after he was shot multiple times. He told the neighbor his mom and her boyfriend were arguing when Sumner started shooting. That neighbor called 911 and treated the teen's wounds. And again, new at this hour, court documents show Sumner had a history of aggressive behavior directed at Tuitt-Bartlett and her son. In April, she asked for a temporary protective order, saying she had been in an on-again, off-again relationship with Sumner for 3 years. She wrote, quote, "He's becoming more verbally abusive to me and my son. During heated discussions, his temperament goes from 0 to 100. I have requested multiple times for Mr. Sumner to leave," end quote. She said her 15-year-old son, quote, "is in fear because he has autism. That places his fear 10 times more. And he has called police on Sumner," she said. The protective order was granted the day after he called 911 in April, but she later requested the judge to drop it. Records show her accused killer is a convicted felon, which means he is not allowed to have a gun. At this point, it's unclear how he obtained one. Deputy Tuitt-Bartlett's family has previously faced tragedy in 2021. Another one of her sons died in a hit-and-run crash, which remains unsolved. I spoke to some neighbors today. Listen to what they had to say.
It's really heartbreaking. She was a wonderful woman. She never ever bothered anybody. Just whenever she passed by, she would wave and say hi. A tragedy like this, it's like very depressing. Being in the neighborhood, it feels like we are missing an important person in the neighborhood. We would not be able to see her again. That is heartbreaking.
Yeah, similar sentiments for a lot of people out here in this neighborhood. Some of them were very friendly with her. Others just say that they saw and waved at her every so often, but they said the same thing. She was so kind, and that also her son was also very nice. The Gwinnett County Sheriff's Office says she served its community for nearly 20 years. In a statement, the agency said, quote, "Her commitment to protecting and serving made a lasting impact on all who had the honor of knowing and working alongside her," end quote. And just within the last about 2 hours, members of the Gwinnett County Sheriff's Office were out here at this home. It's unclear what they were doing. They were inside, but obviously this is traumatic for them as they continue to grieve with her sudden loss after what the Forsyth County Sheriff's Office described as a deadly domestic dispute. I should mention Sumner is in custody. He was arrested after a brief chase in Monroe County. He faces multiple charges, including murder, and he is set to face a judge tomorrow for his first appearance.
Yeah, Tyler, just, as you say, a horrible situation for this deputy, her son, who was also involved in this. You know, we know in situations where an officer is down, whether in the line of duty or in a situation like this, the sheriff's office will rally around the family of these officers, and it certainly takes its own hit in terms of, you know, you never want to lose one of your deputies. How is the department reacting? Have you heard anything about how fellow officers have come together and sort of mourned her loss?
Well, so the Gwinnett County Sheriff's Office has been relatively quiet, other than that statement that they released this morning, talking about just how tragic this is. She had been a member of the Gwinnett County Sheriff's Office for nearly 20 years, they said. They talked about her dedication to the force and how great of a person she was. Obviously, this is traumatic for them as they try to process this. Even though this was an off-duty incident, she was off-duty at the time. She lived at this home, according to court records and according to police. This is obviously just a situation that no one wants to happen. It's the unthinkable, truly. And even if this wasn't a law enforcement officer, this is still tragic. And according to investigators, this is a case that they are taking seriously as they try to figure out what exactly happened here. But I think those court documents that Fox 5 was able to obtain showing that
This right here was an avoidable situation. If you think that it cannot happen to you, if it can happen to a officer, it can happen to anybody. Women, if these dudes is calling you out your name, if they abusing you, if they pushing you, if they smacking you, if they throwing you up against a wall, man, let me tell you something. If they calling you outside your name, because it starts with the mental abuse and then it gets physical. Do you think for 1 second that he not thinking about how he can get away with doing something to you more serious? I need you women to wake up and stop being so desperate for a man. Go be by yourself than to put up with this. This woman lost a son. Okay. She lost her son to a hit and run driver that has never been caught. Her current son, her living son, is autistic, 15 years old. She been trying to get from up under this dude. She been dealing with this dude off and on for 3 years. The judge had an order against him. She took the order off. This dude took her life and he tried to take her son's life. This is what this type of stuff turns to. That's why domestic violence, especially in the state of Georgia, I can only speak for the state of Georgia because I've been here most of my life. It is right up there with murder. You know what I'm saying? It's right there because it is a step behind murder. So if you sitting here going through this type of stuff with an abusive man, you need to find out how you can get out of it. Let me put the number up right here, man. Remember this woman, man, because she did not have to, she was so young. She was so young. She had almost completed a 20-year career. I was right at 20, could have retired. And now we got this sick and twisted clown then took her life, and her son is autistic. He got to fend for his own without his brother and without his mother. Ladies, seek help. Men, because men get abused too now. You know what I'm saying? Here's the domestic violence hotline. Get some help some type of way. Even if you don't call this, even if you don't hit the the text number, or you don't hit the website, you got to do something, because you got to get out this situation, this very abusive situation. This is bad. And that's why, and I said this a couple months ago, the last time I made one of these videos, there should be a registry. There should be a domestic violence registry that any woman, once you go and you have been proven to be a domestic violence person, there should be an app that every single woman should be able to or every single person, because women are abusive too. Every single person can get on the phone and do a background check, because I guarantee you this deputy is not the first person that this clown did this to. I'm pretty sure it's a whole long line of women that he done this to, but because they had no way to look back and do a background check or identification check on this, I just want to call him so much right now. Because there was no way to check, this is what we got. We got this woman, she done lost her life this weekend that just passed. And she's not the first, and she won't be the last. There's a woman probably somewhere getting beat on right now, somewhere at this very second. Women, you got to seek help. You got to know how to be on your own, by yourself, and refuse to accept clowns like this until Mr. Right comes along. I just had to talk about this, man, and try to give somebody a way out, man, because this right here, this is a sickness, and you don't want this sickness to be progressive and cause you to lose your life. You got to wake up. You got to wake up, because this is what happens when you let it go too far. When as soon as you see signs of it, you need to be trying to exit right then. Thank you for tuning into XCon Media. Go right ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hurry up!